Welcome to another round with the Future Forecasting Group. I'm your host, Sean, and I'm joined by Derek, Daz, Edward, Dick, and Nyiam, our rock star remote viewing team. And we're going to be going through our June world events today. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
So my first story here, this looked like a stadium, and the probe here is like screams and yells, chaos. I even get words like rampage. I see people running around, a sense of blood, a sense of like can't escape, terror, lockdown. So I don't know if it's a shooter or sometimes there's like collapses that happen in stadiums, but sense of panic there. Kamala Harris, like a controversy. I get the sense of like bad mouth, regret. So maybe she says something that people don't like, maybe about a policy. I even get a sense of like treachery. Story involving a large military ship. The sense is like deploy, attack, engage. And I get the idea of face to face. So maybe this is like a close encounter. Like I feel like they moved by each other. Like so maybe two ships cross each other's path. And for Bitcoin, it felt mostly positive with the main peak high, the main uptrend being, and that's what I have for June.
Who wants to go next?
Oh, go ahead, Edward. All right. This one, I don't believe it. But we'll see. Gaza ceasefire or agreement reached, even if temporarily. Some kind of paper handed over, or something gets signed, or they're signing this paper, they're signing something. But Gaza ceasefire or agreement reached, I personally don't believe that, but we'll see. We'll see, man. I don't know. Dangling piece hanging over a bridge. Like there's a piece of the bridge that is dangling over the edge. Is it bridge damage, earthquake damage, or a possible cause for an earthquake where it causes a big piece of the bridge to be dangling over? Oh, this was weird. I kept getting World Cup. I don't follow the World Cup. I don't follow this kind of sports. I have no idea what the World Cup came up into my mind. So I had to go and look. So I looked at, went on here, is the World Cup coming? And it is happening next month. And they showed some of these matchups. And it just hit me. US will beat Canada. West Indies beats Papua New Guinea. And this guy beats that guy. So we'll see if, I don't know. I don't sport bet. I don't know the teams. I don't know anything about this crap. World Cup came in. I went and looked it up on the internet. These were the three they showed. These were the predictions that instantly popped into my head. So we'll see. Not betting advice. I'm not suggesting anyone bet on that. If you do, you can share some with me. Grid problem, blackout, power out, like the lines are fried, or an amp explosion. Additional for area. Oh, additional affected by heat waves. And France. Oh, I kept getting France. That this was an issue in France where an amp explodes and the lines are fried. That is my June.
Interesting, Edward. I had power lines in mind.
Yep.
Oh,
we'll see. We'll check it out. Some
interesting
corroboration.
interesting on the World Cup thing. I didn't know that was happening either, but I had that stadium thing, so we'll
Oh
see.
my God!
Yeah,
I hope
now that
that's
maybe
yeah.
something will happen there.
Oh man, that terrified me when you said that. It's terrifying to think about.
Dick, did you want to go next?
Sure. Okay. Edward had the bridge. I saw the trestle bridge. I think there's a train, but a bridge in distress, a bridge event. So Edward and I both had a bridge event, and we both had the arch, but his was a different shape. But
Maybe that thing hanging off of mine was train issue.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. But we don't often do that, and both of us doing it is interesting. And I came to with a little dream going, and I saw blue sky and clouds. I go, oh, I see it. I see it. What am I supposed to see? And then it flickered, and I didn't draw this right, but that blue flame, when it comes out of a jet engine or a missile, that it's kind of bluish white. And then I saw a plane falling and tumbling, and the idea that this is going to be pretext to war. So we're looking for the video of a plane tumbling in the air. I don't often do Bitcoin. I'm going to call it Bitcoin near future. And I kept thinking I should do one that says war, like the war starts. But we've got so much war happening. I don't want to alarm people, but it just kept nagging at me like you should look and see if the big war starts. So I'm not calling it, but it was just looking through my mind. So there you
It's
go.
definitely a card up their sleeves.
You know, it's hard to do these things because last month I was going, well, tornadoes, but it's tornado season. I said, oh, I should put down tornadoes. And then there's all these people getting killed, unfortunately, by tornadoes.
Mhm.
But that's kind of like, yeah, it's tornado season. So I usually like, okay, they're going to be tornadoes. I don't even need to say that. If they happen in December and November and January, then in the US, that's something. So anyway, that's my data.
Thank you, Dick. So we have Derek and Daz left. Rock, paper, scissors.
I'll go.
All right.
Okay. So I got warplane flying overhead, dropping bombs. I've seen explosion near a community and anti-aircraft missile defense launching toward the plane. Power grid failure offline, people in disbelief, no AC. And the AOL on this was USA, but based on Edward, what you had, that makes me wonder. But this was the visual that I saw, was that multiple towers were malfunctioning and down. It wasn't just somebody cut a power line someplace. It was like the whole grid is offline. This was like a restaurant, and there was like grandparents being celebrated, like maybe a anniversary or birthday or something. But the family eating with the grandparents, and then gunmen storm the restaurant, and the visual ended before I saw shots fired, but I definitely saw two people with assault rifles running in and causing a disruption. Definitely a foreign language being spoken there at the table and the people coming in. And then this next one's like a accident in Florida was the first thing I thought of, but accident or public casualties, seeing people in swimwear picking up debris, moving objects to save trapped victims, but it was like a hot summer day at or near the beach. That's what I've got for June.
Thank you, Derek. Yeah, you had a lot of oddly specific stuff, so that'll be really interesting to see what happens. Daz, let's see what you got, man.
I got some stuff that matches these guys, so interesting.
Yeah.
Someone had like the Gaza kind of ceasefire thing. I had a prominent on camera handshake. A deal will be made. A powerful handshake movement, a deal, momentous. Two men in business suits, very serious, globally impacting. And I had all these AOLs here to do with this, but yeah, just two very serious men in business suits shaking hands, caught on camera. So it's a very important thing. This, as I wrote, I never had the word momentous before. That's why I underlined it. So it might be something like I think it was Edward or someone got that one. So then I had a flash visual for some kind of missile thing with the words "first strike." So an aerial vehicle here feels like a military action, a first strike, a start of something, a strategic military event, and again, start of the month, end of the month, middle of the month, roughly around about the 19th here. So an aggressive action here, but yeah, I just have the big words, first strike. Which is weird because there are several wars going on right now, but there's not really been a first strike kind of scenario. Bitcoin news here. I had big rises in it in stages or bumps in 3 stages, and it felt a bit like this, kind of a hump, down a bit, hump, and then another hump. So a bit like this. And then go with Dick's stuff, really, because I wrote here at the end, a final note to myself. Something felt weird, like something hidden or obscured from me, news-wise. Something big. And then I tried to look past it, and then I just had the word war, which is what Dick had as well. So I don't know what that's about as well.
Yeah, that's concerning. Thanks, Daz.
When you get two people saying the word war, it's
Yeah.
I
interesting.
think isn't first strike a term for nuke? I think that's a nuclear. Somebody
Uh,
drops a nuke on someone.
I had that mushroom cloud thing in my last. I kind of just stayed away from it, but I also had that the sense of someone else jumping into the fray, kind of like joining in the fight. So I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
it's related to that as well.
So let's see where you guys had the corroborating. There was a lot of twosies here where you guys partnered up with another viewer and made a lot of stuff. So that's what I have for corroboration from what you guys had, and your thoughts.
I
It
don't
was a
like all
lot.
the explosive wave like energy missile mushroom cloudy data, because that all to me, and even with the power lines, because that feels like a bit EMP-ish, because you get an EMP wave. That all feels a bit like a little bit nukey to me, to be honest, which worries me.
When I did my last story, that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to just get some other news, and what I get, a mushroom cloud. So I was just like,
Yeah. Your subconscious is like, oh, I know what you need.
but yeah, a lot of
How,
kind of like
how
escalation
many of
type
us,
data in terms of
Yeah.
war. I mean, Daz
how
had
many
a
of us,
first strike.
Right,
Dick
go ahead.
had a plane falling, precursor to war. I had some kind of new contender joining the fray. So I mean, that's
Yeah.
not sounding too great there.
how many of you felt like you missed something big, but you're afraid to say it? Like,
I feel that way every
there might be
month.
something big going to happen, but I'm afraid to.
Well, that's what I wrote on my last page. Yeah, absolutely.
I
I
feel
felt
that
I was
every
censoring.
damn month.
I refrained from using the word nuke, but that's the kind of vibe that the mushroom cloud was giving. But I'm not trying to go there.
Yeah.
Sometimes things from prior months kind of like play with your head. Like I saw someone pushing the button under the protective case, like the don't press this button. I saw that like last month. So it's like doing this month. It's like, okay, I don't,
Got that. Put that down
kind of
already.
keep that to
Put
the
it-
side. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we get what we get, don't we? That that's all we can do.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's like, it's not trying to guess what's going to happen. It's you do the remote viewing and what you get,
Yeah.
you put in. So,
Right.
but I like how you both had like a handshake type
Yeah.
agreement thing. If that happens, that would be an amazing,
That would
that would be
be
an incredible hit.
great news. That would be
Except-
great news. I don't care about being right or wrong with the remote viewing. If that were to happen, that would be just a real relief for the world.